So whenever you have a problem, so you go to pythontutor.com and you visualize your code. I have copy pasted your code and I'm going to paste it here. So after you've pasted your code here, you'll visualize execution. So let's see step by step how it runs. So first, response is assigned to an empty dictionary. Okay, it says right here. Then you have set polling activity to true. So, and here, because polling activity is true, it means that while true. Okay, because while true, this while loop will keep on running. Okay, this while loop will keep on running. Okay, then you ask for the input and give it a name. So I have my name, which is AnyFactor, and I submit it. So it takes a moment and the name gets assigned to name variable, and you get a response. I say Australia for some reason, I'm not sure. Okay, so response gets assigned to Australia gets assigned to response here. You can see it here. So we have all the variables here. Global frame means global variables, and we have assigned them here. So I think it is the tricky part for you, which is response name response, responses name response. So responses is our dictionary, and name, we have name here, which is our name obviously, and response is the place I want to visit. So if you remember the dictionary key value pair, so the key value pair means that wait a minute, yep, the key value pair means that whenever you want to assign something in a dictionary, you give it a key. Okay, you give it a key, then your value. So for key we have the name, which is AnyFactor, and the value we have Australia, which is something like let me write it here. The response looks something like this. Response, is it responses? Responses would look something at this moment would look something like AnyFactor, which is the name, and the place I want to visit is Australia. So it's simple as that. We have this one here. So in the next step, repeat input, would you like to repeat this? Okay, so it asks for an input, and if we say suppose yes, then it gets checked here. If the repeat, we have assigned it as yes, and if repeat equals to no, which is not, the polling activity equals to false, because this statement does not get executed. The polling active does not become false, it is still true. So it goes through the loop again, because the polling activity, as it is the end of the loop, it goes to the beginning again, see if polling active is true or false. As it is not false, it is true, this loop gets executed again. So let's go through the loop another time. So what's your name? Your name is routine condition. Okay, so routine, our first input is name is routine. I don't know, I saw a cricket match tomorrow, so everything, suppose India, even though I'm not from India. Anyway, so here we have assigned another name, another response. We can see them both here. Okay, and we do another we add it another time in the responses dictionary. So in responses dictionary, we give the name routine and response India. So after this execution, this responses list would look something like this. So we have routine and India. Okay, so we have routine, then we have India, but this time we are in here, repeat input, whatever, would you like to poll another user? So I say no. So repeat variable gets assigned no now. Oh crap. Repeat variable gets assigned no. So here this if statement is executed because repeat is now no and no equals to no, and polling active becomes false. As it becomes false, the next time it iterates over to while loop, it loops to, not iterate, it loops to the while statement, polling active is false. Because the loop is false, the loop does not get executed. So let's see it here. Polling active false. Here it is checking it. Well, it is polling active is true or not. It is false this time. So it is false. It skips the loop and goes right to the bottom. So we have for name and response responses.items. Responses.items mean to iterate over a dictionary, you need to use the .items method. .items method. So this .items method, so let's check it here. So we have responses, which is our dictionary. So if we return responses.item, it is quite, it might sound quite weird. Sorry, responses is not defined. Oh, I've made a spelling mistake. So it returns a list. Within that list we have some tuples. So the first tuple, the first item represents the first item in the list, and the second tuple represents the second item in the list. So let's try it with one iteration. So with one iteration. So for I in dictionary, so responses, what is responses dot items? So print I. We're not giving it two items, two variables here. Okay, we're giving it one, which is I. So let's see what will happen. So it returns the each of this tuple rather than, so it returns each of these tuples. So we have this one and this one. So what happens if we do give it two items? Let's try two variables. So we have I and X. So print I, print X. So here it is quite different. So whenever we are printing with two variables in this responses dictionary.items, each of these tuple get divided into two. The first one gets represented by the first variable, which is I, and the second one in the tuple gets represented by X. So here we are printing I, then X. So I is the name and X is the response. It gets iterated looped over a second time, where I is it is on the second tuple now. I is the name, X is the response. So through this relationship, you can see that name would get first printed. So we have name here, the key of the first tuple. Then we have the response, which is the value of the first tuple or the item. It gets iterated over a second time. Then we have routine, the key of the second tuple, second element, and response. The response is India. So let's run it again. So it goes over on the first time, checks it. So here we have the print output. So like we predicted, it is here. The first item, the key of the first item and the value. So it goes over a second time, and again we have this one. So I hope you understand that. So always try to use Python tutor whenever you're in confusion, and break down each individual part using the IDLE. Okay, thanks.